Welcome, everybody, back to a new edition of Virtue and Vice brand of wrestling right here on the BigVitoBrand.com. And I am Virtue, wearing my alpha male Chris Jericho shirt, the new AEW World Champion. And I am being joined, as always, by the remarkable Robbie Vice. What's up?
Well, Virtue, I'm excited to talk about some of the AEW pay-per-view, and I just want to put it out there for everyone. I fucking hate Orange Cassidy. So where are we going to go with this show today?
And that's what we're going to do a lot here. You know, we are talking a lot about AEW because it's supposed to be this new upcoming wrestling promotion that's supposed to take the wrestling world by storm. And what's their catchphrase? Let's change the world. I don't even know at this point. But here's the deal. TV doesn't start until October, okay? And they had to establish a champion, and they did. So we get all out. It's in Chicago. You know, the CM Punk buzz was there. He was at StarCast, but he's just detached from the wrestling business, like Vince Russo is, which, you know, that's going to be a column on NoDQ.com very soon. But I'm watching this. I didn't watch All Out live, but I did have my ways to go see it after the fact, right? And I'm not going to say how, but I did. And a couple things stood out for me. I did enjoy the whole Cody Rhodes versus Shawn Spears with the Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson coming out. I popped for that kind of stuff. So, I did enjoy that. You know, a little MJF kind of mixing it up with Cody a little bit there. And are they going to be buddies? Is it going to be a feud? So, I enjoy stuff like that. And, of course, I enjoyed Chris Jericho becoming the AEW World Champion. And we'll talk about that because I think you have some things to say about Hangman Page.
Yeah.
But throughout that stuff, I saw a tag title match for a ladder match, right? Might as well have had pinfalls in there so they could have the kickouts, which was for the AAA titles between the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks. And they just want to pop the crowd. They just want to pop the internet with a GIF. And I hate the fact that's where wrestling's going. Then the hardcore triple threat match, and I like Darby Allin, and I still do. He shined the best out of the three in this match.
He was the best.
But, come on. I mean, Joey Janela, man, step up your game. I mean, it's the big stage, but, you're signed for a reason. You got to step it up. But there was Orange Cassidy. What is this Napoleon Dynamite thing? There were so many, uhs of this show. Why are the AEW fanboys and girls not seeing this and being critical of the bad stuff? You and I praise what we like. We're not crapping on everything, but there's some bad stuff, and we're not alone. There's a guy named Mr. Tito over on lordsofpain.net who's being very critical of this product as well. So go for it, man. What was the worst of the worst for you for this show?
Well, so like I said, I watched this pay-per-view with my girlfriend who's never watched wrestling in the past, right? She's as casual as you can come. And she literally laughed out loud during this hardcore match because it was ridiculous. She said something along the lines of this is something I couldn't even dream up. I've never seen something like this before, but it wasn't a good thing. There was a skateboard with tacks on it, and he grinded on the guy's back. They literally had a spot where he had a tinfoil fan full of what they referred to as fluffy biscuits that knocked him out. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And then you have things like the Dark Order, which looks like if I put on some spandex pants and some boots and went out there and wrestled with you, we could literally be the Dark Order. I don't think there's anything special about these guys.
I kind of like Evil Uno, but I get it though.
But he doesn't look like someone that should be on $1 million television wrestling show, right? Yeah. I mean, he could put some effort on, wear a shirt or something. I don't know.
Like the WCW cruiserweights did back in the day,
right?
They look the part. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. They have guys that look like child molesters that come out. Their creeps are terrifying. They remind me of the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. And then Orange Cassidy somehow rescues them with his hands in his freaking pockets. He's the stupidest thing ever. I just can't stand him. Other things I don't like is their women's division is not good. It's very amateur hour. Watching the Becky Lynch and Bayley matches in WWE on Monday and yesterday is just night and day from what they have in AEW. And I want them to get better. I want them to be a great competitive promotion, but their women's division needs a lot of work. They need some talent, and they need it fast. They have about 3 or 4 ladies.
They had the dude win it.
Right. Well, yeah.
Well,
and you know what? I'm
have
fine
to,
with that.
whatever.
You know, because at least her work rate, she can work as a monster heel, and I get it. She's kind of like a poor man's Awesome Kong. I'm fine with it. Okay. Um, Luchasaurus is amazing. He's
I like
so
that
much
guy.
better.
He's jacked too, man. You
Oh,
saw
dude,
like
he's great.
yeah.
And you know, I think Luke Perry's son, Jungle Boy, I think he has some promise. I don't think he's quite there yet. Marco Stunt needs to just sit in the crowd. That guy is above.
You know why he broke his leg?
I wish he would break it again, and I just so I didn't have to see him. I look, and I wouldn't be so critical if I streamed this through Reddit, but I paid $50 to watch Amateur Hour, and I got maybe 3 matches. The Pac match with Kenny Omega I thought was serviceable. That was worth a $50 pay-per-view. The Cody Rhodes, Sean Spears, watching Tully Blanchard and MJF like exchange blows was worth $50 to me. And obviously Jericho, not so much Hangman Page, but Jericho made that a $50 match as well. Yeah. And I liked all of those things. But did it things I liked, things I didn't like? I would not pay for this show again if I could go back and have the option.
All right. So first of all, like to the hardcore.
Did I say fuck Orange Cassidy yet? Have I said that?
You did. Okay. And they're trying to in wrestling, so many things have been done over the years. So these people today are just not like they think they're making this cool edgy characters or something that's complete, the performance artists of the world. And that's what this Orange Cassidy thinks he's doing. But like seriously, take some tips on sometimes old school works. Right. Look at MJF. He won't break gimmick. In real life, he won't break gimmick. Yeah. And it works. It just works. Even if the fans go home saying we liked him, at least he's getting eliciting the right reactions at the shows. But right. Orange Cassidy, I see press conferences and he's like, no, maybe. Seriously, that's indie stuff. This isn't major TNT television worthy stuff. Now, my biggest issue, and there's something I want to talk about too at the very end of the video, and I'll surprise you with what that is. But my biggest issue, so I enjoyed the Cody and Sean Spears thing, right? And of course, Cody, to me, I know Aaron Rift said he's redoing the Triple H stuff, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of funny, that he's doing it because he's, he smashed the throne because he's the Triple H of AEW. So it's kind of like a rib in my opinion. So I like the fact that he's doing, if you see similarities there, it's not because he's copycatting. It's a rib to me. But what the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks, okay? Dave Meltzer said that should have went on last, and the people that like the excitement of the flipping and the flying and the crazy spot after spot after spot and the no-selling thinks that match should have went on last. And I heard our good old boy, Davey Boy, I give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Sure. So, but I still got to critique what he says when I don't agree with him. Absolutely. And he said the Jericho Hangman Page match was flat. I know you weren't a fan of Hangman Page during this performance. So what do you have to say? I mean, are you partially agreeing with Meltzer? Because before I go, I need to hear what you have to say.
So my opinion on the tag team match was this. There was some amazing spots in this match. There was just too many amazing spots in this match. When you have too many just incredible things that happen in a wrestling match,
it hurts the main event.
Well, not only does it hurt the main event, it hurts the match itself. There was a Canadian Destroyer off the top of a ladder through a table. And that wasn't even the most dangerous spot in the match. One of those spots should have been what the crescendo of that match was that led to a victory. They should have had a good old-fashioned ladder match. And I sound like an old man. I'm only 34 years old, guys. But I've seen good wrestling in my life. Why couldn't one of those big spots been the crescendo? I liked when they took the mask off him. He demasked him. I thought that was a good heel tactic. I don't know if they're heels or not, whatever. But I just thought it was too much. And I've told you this before. I am not a giant fan of the nice drink, by the way. It's a good choice. That's what I have too. But that's right.
Brought to you by Pure Leaf.
That's right.
All right.
So I don't like a lot of these flippy spot matches if the spots mean something and they're impactful. But again, I side with Jim Cornette when I think things like, if you're going to do something like that, your opponent should not get up. If you're going to Canadian destroy someone off the top of a ladder through a table, they should not be doing a 450 splash off a ladder to the floor 30 seconds later to you. They need to be dead. They need to be out of the match. At least sell the injuries. Make me believe it. And then Hangman Page. Look, I know this is going to sound cliche, but this guy looks like a B-plus player to me. Maybe TV will bring out his personality, give me a reason to care. And I
came out on a horse.
He came out on a horse, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in this regard as well. I think if they had TV every single week and they could build a story, that I would care more. But they're just giving me wrestling matches without story. And as you agree 1,000 times over, you can't just have good wrestling matches, because we need to be entertained with story and characters. And I did not get a good character vibe from Hangman Page during that match.
Which, piggybacking off that point of yours, that's why I just really wasn't that invested with Omega versus Pac. And I know we know the situation why, but I felt like a couple things could have been done in the 7 days or longer, because I'm sure they knew before they announced Moxley wasn't going to be in the match that he wasn't going to be able to do it. That would have made me, want to see this match a little bit more, get more emotionally invested. But, it did what it was. I'm sure it got the highest. Between that and the Lucha Brothers match with Young Bucks, Meltzer probably gave those the highest matches, the grades on the show. But going to the main event, when I watched this, I thoroughly enjoyed the slow spots, because if you look at it, and I know wrestling has evolved where fans are desensitized and you got to be crazy the whole 30 minutes or they're going to call it flat. But the way that the blade job happened after he got popped in the face by Hangman Page. Jericho brought in the color. WWE doesn't do that unless it's accidental. The whole Jericho thing with the referee, the fact that there was a female referee. Yeah. Hangman Page was basically Jericho was working slow and methodical, building up to some of the Hangman Page moves and spots. I thought Hangman Page was very, very above average for this match. Which is the B-plus grade you gave him. Now being on a main event against Jericho, you're probably expecting more. I don't think they were going to put a bigger name against Jericho for Jericho to become the champ, because to me, they don't have TV yet. I think this was all just to get Jericho that title. And I think now going forward, especially when TNT starts, he's going to have that meaningful feud against Moxley, against Pac. I don't know how they're going to do it. Omega, Cody. I don't think Cody's going to interject himself in a title picture yet. So I think Hangman Page was just there to get Jericho the title. But what baffles me, there are people out there, Rob, that think Hangman Page should be the AEW champion right now, and they're hating Jericho because of the fact. So Thank you, Jim Ross. Thank you, Cody Rhodes, and thank you, Chris Jericho. Whoever came up with this idea of putting the title on Jericho to go into TV, you did it right. Because Hangman Page, what's my philosophy on him? You go down Times Square in New York. You ask 50 people who Chris Jericho is. I think half of them are going to know.
Sure.
You ask 50 people who Hangman Page are, 2 might know? I mean, unless there's a wrestling event going on right then.
Yeah, depends who you're asking out there. But yeah, the average person. I watched
this match, right? And it was 25 minutes long. And this is what I want in a match. The way they told it. I didn't even think Hangman Page was underperforming. If he was, I didn't notice it because I was so focused on, are they going to let Jericho win or is he going to be the first guy? Come on. Where I only cared about a winner or a loser. I didn't care about the spots. You know what I mean? And the way he hit the Judas effect was perfect. Just like a real fight. You catch somebody with an elbow, he's done, no kick out, it's over. Yeah. But people probably thought that was a flat finish. But that was a realistic finish.
It was a good finish, yeah. And off topic a little bit, I want to say one of my favorite things about this pay-per-view is something that AEW did that WWE will never, ever do in their lifetime. It was the first time a female has ever reffed a main event for a world title match in the history of wrestling, and they did not constantly pat themselves on the back about it. I love it. Let history happen on its own. You don't need to keep telling us it's great. That was one of my favorite parts of the entire show.
She did that count, though, the near fall, and then she did the whole, I thought that was a little over dramatic, but because I'm a sports entertainment guy, okay, I'll let it pass.
Sure.
So,
But yeah, the Judas Effect, I thought that was a perfect ending because that's how he's been ending his matches, and that just shows in his character that he's this wily old veteran who is gonna get his spot in. He's patient and he executes. He's this out of shape rock star that while he may not be as flashy as he once was, if you let your guard down for just a second, Jericho has you beat, and that is just the legend of Chris Jericho, and
he's had a lot of people, and he's had a lot of people get out of the walls. He's had a lot of people kick out of the Lion Salt. He's had a lot of people kick out of the Code Breaker. Guess what? No one's kicked out of yet. The Judas Effect. That perfect timing to bring in a new move.
It's a finisher, not a signature, and I like that.
Now, I love the promo afterwards. Mm-hmm. He goes back in and roasts everybody. Makes fun of Brian Pillman Jr.'s hair. Just makes fun of the Young Bucks. I love seeing this. This is why I want Jericho to be the champion, because he's good at what he does, and he's going to make the people, the diehard fans that think he's the old former WCW WWE guy, they're going to want to see him, like Brock Lesnar, lose that title even more, and it'll help the babyface that goes against him to get that extra babyface heat. Now, tell me your thoughts on this whole, we talked about it on the review, stolen AEW title gimmick. Like, dude, any thoughts on that you want to add or rehash?
You know, like I said, I don't think it was a work. I think Jericho is a genius who turned a situation into something he could work with. I'm glad they got their title back. They were reporting that title was worth $100,000. I don't know if I believe that.
$29,250, I think.
That's still a good chunk of change.
That's a car.
Tony Khan could not have been thrilled to know that was stolen, and I'm sure Jericho was given a stern talking to about that. But
why do you think he lost it or got it stolen from? He's a veteran, 20-plus years carrying title belts all around.
Things happen, man.
You think he was drinking some vodka? I mean, there's no way he would just or did he just trust the limo driver thinking, yeah, you're not going to.
He had the wrong luggage to begin with, so I don't even know if he had it at all. I don't know if he had it and then lost it. I don't know. Like I said, I think I said on the review, I look forward to 10 years from now hearing Chris Jericho retell this story with what really happened that day, because I think it's going to be interesting. But and I hope as much as you do, I'm assuming that I hope this turns into a storyline on TV, because
dude, yeah, and I'm interested now because coming up here very soon, it's happening. It's happening. Chris Jericho on his I Am Talk is Jericho is going to have Vince Russo on as a guest, a one-on-one conversation in person live. I want to see the video for that. I am excited about that. And I think it's about time, because I'm writing a column for NoDQ.com that should be up by this weekend about Vince Russo and why he's detached from the wrestling business and why people shouldn't hate him, right? Because to be honest with you, what Vince Russo did for wrestling, he helped. It wasn't just him, but he was a very big proponent of why more people watched wrestling before, right? But he gets criticized for killing this, for doing this bad, and throwing a lot of ideas against the wall that didn't stick. I'm going to explain all of that in my column. But so
I don't think I've ever told you this.
Go ahead.
My exact opinion of Vince Russo. Now, I'm definitely
I like Jim Cornette, which is your boy. I'm the guy that likes them both.
I do like them both, but listen to what I say. I think Jim Cornette is the greatest wrestling mind of our generation. Okay, I think Vince Russo is responsible for some of the greatest TV segments ever to be on television. I don't love everything Vince Russo did, but I don't love everything Jim Cornette has done. So I think people need to understand that someone can create something that you love and they can create something you hate. It doesn't mean that person is a bad person. It doesn't mean that person ruined wrestling. I mean, did Tom Cruise ruin movies for everybody when he made Eyes Wide Shut? It wasn't my favorite Stanley Kubrick movie. I'll tell you that much right now. But guess what? Stanley Kubrick, it doesn't mean I hate all of his other work. I still love Space Odyssey. I still love The Shining. So yeah, people just get on this hyperbole train. Leave Vince Russo alone. I love Jim Cornette. I love a lot of the things Vince Russo did. People, there is a happy medium. You don't need to always have this us versus them mentality with everything. Enjoy what you enjoy. Don't enjoy what you don't enjoy. Sit down, shut the fuck up, enjoy your wrestling.
This might become how I've been doing those Twitter videos. This might be one of those. Some of them, my last one didn't get a lot of traction, but some of them are getting 3,000-4,000 hits. I think Jim Cornette was a better on-screen gimmick character by far than Vince Russo. So I don't always put
promo, sure.
Yeah, I don't always put Vince Russo over, but like I said, I do like what he did in the WWE years, that first 3 months in WCW before he chose to go home, and then what he did in early TNA. So that, and I'm going to explain all that in the column.
Sure.
So in closing, and we might talk about this for a couple of minutes. I know you don't want to talk about it much because we don't really know what her health issue is and her mental health, but I just found it so weird that Kylie, what's her name? Kylie Ray.
Oh, you mean AEW Bailey? Yeah.
Yeah. Left already AEW, and I know she asked for her release. My point before this company ever started is I said, the AEW diehard fans basically think everybody can go to AEW and they have jobs for life. That's not how the wrestling business works. And whether it's one side or the other or both, before they even kicked off TV, and I know it's personal for her, but we already have somebody that's out of their contract already. That's the wrestling business. That's how it works. You never know. But what I find strange, Rob, is I don't care what the reason exact was and if we'll ever find out if she's got the health issues, whatever. I thought AEW was a proponent because she was under contract and hired by them, right? Before they released her?
Yeah.
And she asked for her release, but I thought if she was working for the company and they're supposed to be this revolutionary wrestling company with medical benefits, mental health benefits, and this and that, why didn't she stay employed there and take advantage of some long-term or short-term disability? I'm questioning that. I want to know why. I know we'll get that over time, but isn't AEW supposed to be revolutionary with this stuff and not treat them like independent contractors? If I had a job and I only had it for 3 months, but I was locked into the benefits, I would still be working for that company getting the benefits, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's what confused me over that. And I saw you we really disagreed on Twitter there. Anything you want to add to that? I mean, just quick. We don't have to elaborate.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, I'm gonna stay with what I said is I need more information to come out before I make an opinion. But I will say though is we don't know that AEW isn't this revolutionary company yet. Even if they're released, the right thing to do would be for them to help her with whatever she's going through. Vince did it with a couple of guys' funerals. He flew people out. He life flighted people that worked for him at one point that no longer were employed by him. Vince McMahon has proven, regardless of what people say negatively about him, if he believes in you and you were good to him, he will take care of you and your family for life. So if AEW decides not to help Kylie Ray, even if she's released from her contract, then I would say that you have a lot of good points that you make. I'm not ready to make that statement. That's not my style. But what is your basic opinion? For anyone who might not have seen our exchange on Twitter, you feel a bit differently than I do. So why don't you go ahead and explain to them what's going on?
Well, you want to wait to see exactly like why she asked for her release, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know that. It's speculation. It could be medical, mental. I'm not saying it was politics, but it's just those women in that division in AEW, they work stiff. Yeah, she's been in a couple matches. I mean, she could have got hurt. She could have got kicked in the face. Again, it could be a multiple of reasons. But there's so many people that said that's the place to go. And all wrestlers should want to go to AEW. They're going to offer medical benefits, health benefits. And we already have a wrestler who asked for her release at a time that she might need those benefits, right?
Sure.
And I know we don't know yet. That's it's crazy.
And it's a valid question.
I can't wait to find out what happens because the fact is a wrestler for AEW that was under contract is no longer under contract on her own accord because it's just weird. They're supposed to help. Like, I just don't get why they just secretly just didn't have her on TV. She's still employed. She's getting the help she needs. Like, I don't know why she would have asked for her release. It's just strange if they're supposed to offer help. Like, when you're not employed, my company wouldn't give me health benefits if I didn't work for them anymore.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Like, WWE, on the other hand, though, they did it with Corey Graves and Paige and Byron Saxton. People have been hurt. They did give them jobs so they could maintain benefits and different things. Like, well, they don't have benefits, but at least stay employed to pay for those. So I think it all comes down to how they handle this. I think even though she's released, they should probably still help her with whatever she's going through, if it's wrestling related, which I'm going to guess it is. So unless it's some politics thing, because she didn't want to lose to the winner of that.
If, worked, and then she just was like, F this. I mean, again, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's where I know you want to wait. It's speculation. I have fun with the speculation part because, like I said, like Vince Russo writing in WCW in 2000, I want to throw 20 things against the wall. And then when the 3 that stick, that are spot on, I'm going to say, yay, Virtue. But
that's right.
Again, I just see this. We're changing the world. And we already have a talent no longer under contract with them. It doesn't matter why.
They should calm down on that kind of that rhetoric, though, needs to calm down from them and their fans. I will concede that 100%.
We'll bring this back up when we do get more. I had to get
for sure.
Yeah. So that's it. You want to do your plugs?
Man, I could do my plug. You guys can follow me on Twitter at NoDQVice. Let me know what you guys think. Am I the smartest guy in the room or the biggest idiot you've ever heard? Go ahead and tweet at me. We'll interact. We'll have some fun with it. Virtue, there are some places that they can find both of us if they like what they hear today. Where are those places, and how can they find us?
NoDQ.com, and you can check Rob out every week on the NoDQ review with me, and he also will be doing pay-per-view predictions, which I usually do as long as Aaron doesn't boot me off of them. He's all, and Rob also does videos over on WrestlingWithWrestling.com for Andre. Now I know it was me and Big G last time, but I couldn't wait for you. I know you were enjoying your Labor Day. You'll be back over there soon. But I used Big G just so I could get my rage and my rant out. So you know that. And of course, right here on Virtue and Vice, Vice and Virtue, brand of wrestling on the BigVitoBrand.com, and it's on Twitch, and it's on all the podcasts for media out there, all of them. I'm not even going to name them all because there's like 7 of them, but they're out there. And I know most people listen to us and not watch us, because, we look at us, we're neckbeards, but nonetheless, thanks for joining me, Rob. Great discussion on AEW, and I can't wait for TV. I really want to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be
fun. And I, it's going to be better because it'll be easier to watch because it's on TV, laying on your couch. You don't have to pay $50 for the pay-per-view. So we're going to be able to dissect it even better. And we talked about that doing the preview last week. So, folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. For Robbie Vice, I am Virtue. We'll see you next time.
The street, son.
I'm giving it to you hoodie style.
Do you think Tupac would ever say, I'm in my love nest with my lady? Or would he be like, I was banging my bitch? Think about it. What would Tupac do?
I got my hose open.
Yeah, see, better.
Yeah.
Be more
got my hose open. Yeah, son.
Be more Tupac, a little less corporate.
Listen, when I was a bachelor, though, I have my Cadillac.
Yo.
I have white gin in the fridge.
Yo.
All right. We had dinners, lattes, jazz night.
Your family.
No dancing, plenty of dancing, clubbing. Somebody's blowing up my phone. But anyway.
Who's blowing up?
Let's keep that aside, baby. You don't need to know my hoage.
I need to know your hoe.
No, we don't need it.
Vape Supply Plus in Port Richey, Florida is your place to go. One-stop vape shop, CBD, devices, mods, and more. 400 flavors, 30 brands. Vape Supply Plus, Port Richey, Florida.